Hi, my name is Sam Harris.
I'm Feldshuh.
We are two parts of X Ambassadors, and this is a music blog. Yeah.
So you've played quite a few shows opening for Imagine Dragons. How's that been?
It's been great. You know, the shows that they're playing are mind-blowingly massive. You know, these are the biggest crowds that we've ever played for, so that's, you know, pretty exciting and daunting at the same time. But you know, we've been, you know, saying this to everybody. They're the nicest dudes in the world, really down to earth, and they've helped us along a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's kind of feels good to, you know, be under somebody's wing at this early stage in our careers. So.
And Dan Reynolds was the producer of your album too. So how did you start working with him?
Yeah, well, Dan and Alex the Kid were the two executive producers on the record. Dan had heard us at a radio station in Virginia, in Norfolk, Virginia. We had a song that became their #1 song last year, which was crazy. It was like us, and then Fun, and then the Foo Fighters. You know, it was like crazy. And they were playing a show down there. He heard us. One of the guys from the radio station played him an acoustic version of Unconsolable, and you know, I guess he really liked it enough to show it to Alex the Kid. And Alex's label, Kid in the Corner, is the label that we ended up signing with. That's who Imagine Dragons was signed with via Interscope. Yeah, you know, he's a great guy to work with, Alex. You know, he's really hardworking and pushes us. And he's got such a great ear, and yeah, he helped us make this EP into something that we're really proud of, as did Dan. You know, Dan sort of had to work from the road because they're so busy. You know, they're always out and about doing stuff, but Dan would always be there, you know, calling in and, you know, giving us his 2 cents, and yeah.
How do you feel about playing like big stadium shows versus smaller venues like the one tonight?
Oh, I mean, it's been amazing playing these huge shows, but at the same time, our band has been growing up in these, and honing our skill in these small clubs too. It's definitely a different vibe. It's an amazing vibe having a big show, but you know, there's definitely something to it, having the small, intimate gathering of people. You know, being able to have the sweat of the band.
Yeah. I mean, there's something really electrifying about playing in these clubs at this stage when, you know, people still don't really know who we are, and we get to get right in their faces, and it's so up close and personal with the big shows that we're playing with Imagine Dragons. Sometimes it is like so easy, and the crowds are just like ready to have fun and are yelling and screaming for whoever is on stage. But you know, most of the time, you're getting instead of getting in front of a crowd of 20 people who don't know who you are, it's getting in front of a crowd of like 3,000 people who don't know who you are. So it makes it that much more awkward when you first step on stage. But it's also pushed us to really work our asses off in front of that crowd and play as, you know, best as we possibly can, make everything as big as we possibly can.
So you've been on tour for a while now too. What are the best and worst parts about having to be on the road for so long?
Oh, well, actually this tour we've had various bouts with sickness. Sam and I are sort of just getting over colds and stuff, and we've had, I think, 4 trips to the hospital.
Casey, my brother, is super sick, had an ear infection and a sinus infection. And our car broke down like 3 times.
Yeah.
It's been one of those tours. This is sort of, we were doing these dates with Jimmy Eat World and these dates with Imagine Dragons, and a few dates on our own. And the routing was really crazy. So yeah, you know, we had been so lucky up until this point that like nothing bad like that at all had happened at all, except for a few things here and there. But yeah, it was like everything. It was like a perfect storm, you know. Yeah. But that's rock and roll.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite city to play in?
Well, I guess Norfolk would be. We sold out the Norva down there, which was amazing. Just like over 1,000 seats. down there really are super familiar with our music.
Yeah, just to clarify, that's the town where this whole radio
Yeah.
thing
Okay.
happened in Norfolk. It's tiny, you know, it's actually kind of reminiscent of Ithaca, where we grew up, except Ithaca's not really like a coastal
Yeah,
town.
or military.
Or a military town at all. But it's small and, you know, but it's got this really great artistic community.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So I was actually going to ask you about that. So growing up in Ithaca, how did that affect like the sound of your music and your songwriting process?
Yeah. You know, we talk about this a lot, and I think the biggest thing was our exposure to music was very limited. You know, we pretty much heard whatever was like big on the radio. And then it wasn't until like later on in high school that we all sort of started to get exposed to these, you know, indie bands. But that scene was much more of a city thing, you know, like we were so secluded up there that most of what we grew up listening to was a lot of hip hop and R&B, you know, that was like what was the popular thing. That's what played it all up. This high school and middle school dances, you know, that's the shit that we wanted to fucking play. We wanted to be able to like play stuff that, you know, little middle school girls would grind to, you know, it's like so sick and stupid, but you know, that's really what it came down to for us. And then, you know, later on when we formed a band and realized like, okay, so can't rap, you know, like we gotta do something with our guitars and drums and basses.
Yeah, but I think it was good for that. Once you know, it's a very small town, but there's definitely avenues for young high school, middle school age bands to sort of get in front of people, even if it's people that you know from your hometown. It's just, you know, that experience of being on a stage and playing in front of an audience is, you can't find that necessarily everywhere in every small town. So that was good. That was a great part of it.
But yeah, I think what it brings to our music is this, you know, we really want to find a way to incorporate these elements of there. I mean, there's so many great bands around nowadays, and so many great bands that most of America and most of the world just doesn't know about. They don't know about these sounds that are being created and how cool it is and how, you know, potentially accessible it all can be. And we want to sort of incorporate those elements and put them on a platform that anyone can really, you know, no matter what kind of music you listen to, generally, you can listen to our stuff and say, hey, you know, there's a little bit of something that I really like in that. And that it's home. Yeah.
So what bands have you been listening to lately, or what like small bands have you found that you've really enjoyed that a lot of people might not know about?
Oh man, that Lord EP.
Yeah, she's blowing up right now. Everyone is going crazy with this girl. Lord is really sweet. She's like 16, 17. She could be lying though. I mean, she's like 30. She's this young girl from New Zealand, and she makes this really awesome kind of like hip hop influenced pop, bubblegum pop music. She's got some killer voice, and the song Royals is really great. Who else? Jamie and Commons, who's also on Kid in the Corner, he's going to be huge. This guy has the voice of like, you know, a 60-year-old black man from the Delta blues era. You know, he's like fucking amazing, dude. And he is this 24-year-old white British guy, and is killing it. He just did a show in Germany with opening for Bruce Springsteen.
Wow.
He's had a song that was featured on The Walking Dead, and we actually collaborated with him. We did 2 songs that are going to be on his full length with him. I co-wrote chorus with him, a song called Marathon, and then there's another song that I sing with him on. It's a duet. It's called Low Life. And those will be, hopefully they'll be on this full length. But yeah, he's amazing. You gotta check him out.
So since your album is called Love Songs, Drug Songs, what's your favorite love song and what's your favorite drug song?
That's a really hard question.
I love that Sam Cooke song. Bring It On Home with Me. If you ever change your mind about leaving me behind, baby, bring it to me. Yeah. You never heard that? Oh, so good.
Yeah.
That one. It's your favorite drum song. What about? Oh man, that's like heavy. That's hardcore. Shit. What about?
I was gonna say Whitney Houston.
Yeah. What's a good one? Yeah. Oh, what a jam.
I know that one.
What a jam. Drug songs. I love that Weekend.
Oh, I got a drug song.
High for This. That's mine.
I got Pushing It.
Oh yeah.
Curtis Mayfield.
Curtis Mayfield.
That's the best one.
Yeah. I'm no pushing it. Boom, 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 boom.
So
You
for
don't
your
know that one, you gotta check that one.
okay. So for your set tonight, which song are you most looking forward to playing?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them?
All of them. What song are you most looking forward to hearing?
Brother?
Brother. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome. Dude. Awesome. Yeah.
So what's coming up next for the band?
Next, we're going to be touring for the rest of our lives. And we just heard from the label that our first single hit radio yesterday. So they're going to start pushing that now. It's already in rotation at 3 different stations across the country. And hopefully more as the weeks go on and months go on. It's Unconsolable. It's the first single. We're going to be pushing that, making a video for that, which will be out, within the next month or so. We're going to be back in Canada in September. We're playing a couple shows with Passion Pit, playing one festival with them, and then we're playing a college show with them. I'm not sure where, but you can look on our website, xambassadors.com, which has links to all of our shows.
That's the 11th to the 14th.
Yeah, the 11th through the 14th we'll be back here. But yeah, other than that, just keep on grinding,
All right, so for our very last question, what's something about ex-ambassadors that no one yet knows?
Crazy.
That's a good answer.
That's good. That's
All right, well, thanks so much for doing the interview. Really looking forward to the show
Thank
tonight.
you so